Hey everyone, it's Battle. Hope you are well. So, I'm often asked about arm balancing because it's one of my favorite things to do in my practice, inversions as well. So, I decided to do a little video for you and break down some of the typical arm balances you may find in a class. Often when you go to a class, they incorporate them into the class and they say, if this is in your practice, you can do it. And they don't really offer any instruction on how to do the arm balances. The thing is that arm balances are not that difficult. You don't have to have major strength. It's core strength predominantly, and it's more about finding your leverage. It's about finding your fulcrum point. That's my big girl word for the day, fulcrum point. So it's that balance of your body, just like in life, of forward to back with anything with arm balances. So anyway, let's get started, and I'll break some down for you. Let's warm up first though. So come to your hands and knees. And just take a few cat and cows, drop your belly, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone, and then pull everything up underneath you. And then drop it down and lift, and then pull underneath. And just warm up your spine. And take your breath in and out and begin to come into your breath, meaning coordinate your breath with your movement, because that's going to help you a lot with arm balances and inversions as well, using the breath. Now let's try some wrist work here, because we're going to be working on our hands a little bit. So just circle your wrists, one and then the other, and then turn the fingers out so that you're outward, and then move yourself back and forth, just warming up the wrists. And if it feels good and you want to turn one hand backwards and the other hand, if that's not okay, do one forward, one back, and just work in the wrist, and then change it to alternate just to warm them up and stretch them out. And then ultimately, let's turn the backs of your hands down to the mat and the palms up, fingers towards the knees, and just wiggle your fingers and move back and forth. And sit back on your heels and shake them out. We do a lot with our wrists and our hands on our computers and our phones, and it's always good to stretch them out. All right, so go ahead and lift your hips. Come to the balls of your feet from your tabletop position and engage your core. And I want you to notice the space between your hips. That little triangle, it's just below your belly button a couple of inches, is where you want to draw in really deeply, because that's the space where you use the most strength in your arm balances. All right. So go ahead and lift your hips. Let's come to a downward facing dog and pedal out through your heels. Shift right and left. And lengthen your spine. And begin to walk your feet to your hands and just hang and ragdoll. And another opportunity to shake out your wrists or stretch out your wrists. Shake your head yes, shake your head no, a little slight knee bend. And then begin to roll up one bone at a time. A couple of sun salutations, because they're great for full body warm up. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Look forward and lengthen spine. Plant the hands and step back to plank. Now hold your plank for a couple of breaths. We're warming up the core as well here. So draw the belly button in. And again, you're going to really sink your belly up into your spine. Cat your back just slightly. Separate your shoulder blades. Now shift your weight forward up to the tip toes. You should be engaged really low into your belly. You want to remember that feeling right there. Now shift back. Shift forward one more time up to the tip toes. Draw the belly button in, cat your back. Booty stay right in line with the shoulders. Again, come back, press the heels back. And then come forward and lower chaturanga. If you need the knees down, take them for the first one. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. And then downward facing dog. Big long inhale. And smooth exhale. Big long inhale. And smooth exhale. All right, move your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, rise up, palms touch. Little back bend, pressing the hips forward, and then big swan dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Step back. Chaturanga, inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Big inhale through the nose. Smooth exhale. One more. And then move your feet to the top of the mat. Fold in. Inhale, rise up, palms touch. Little back bend here, and then go ahead, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Step, or if you're ready, you can float back if that's your vibe today. Inhale, upward facing dog. Elbows stay really close. Exhale, down dog. Strong inhale. Smooth exhale. Strong inhale. Smooth exhale. Now this time, bend your knees and shift your gaze forward between your thumbs. And I want you to engage your lower core where we did when we were in the plank. Really low. And then pop your feet to the top of the mat. Fold in. Inhale, rise up. Two more, just like that. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Step, or if you're ready, float back, always to bent elbows, never to straight elbows. You don't want to jar your shoulders. And downward facing dog. Big inhale, smooth exhale. On the end of the exhale, bend your knees, pop your feet between your hands. Fold in. You really have to get some air under your feet. Inhale, rise up. Last round, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Plant your hands, pop back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big inhale, smooth exhale. Big inhale, smooth exhale. Bend the knees, look forward, get lots of air under your feet and pop them between your hands. Fold in. Inhale, rise up, palms touch, and then bring your arms by your side. Nice work. Bend your knees, come to chair pose. Sink down lower. Now draw your belly button into your spine. Pull it way in. Sink, sink, sink. And then fold forward. Say out. Inhale, half lift. Step or float back if you'd like. We meet in downward facing dog. Inhale. And exhale. Right leg rises. Bend the knee and stack your hip. Open it up. And then draw the knee into the right elbow or wrist. We're going to open up the hip now. Reach back up and bring it in. Using the core strength. Reach back up. Bring it in. And reach back up. Nice job. Take it to the outside of the foot. So your foot is on the hand, outside of the pinky finger. So your right foot stays on the outside of the pinky finger. We're opening up the hips just a little bit more here. Just for a breath. All right, step the right foot back to meet the left hip, plank. Shift back, downward facing dog. Lift the hips. Look forward. Float the feet and fold in. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Step or float back if you're ready. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, down dog. Left leg rises. Bend the knee, stack the hip, open up. And then draw the knee into the elbow or the shoulder, and then reach it back up. Bring it in, reach it back up. The shoulders come right over the wrist. In, reach it back up. Nice job. This time, go ahead and place your foot beside your left pinky finger. Stay here in a long, low lunge. Sink your hips low. This time, step your right foot to the outer edge of your right pinky finger. So you're here. And then start to sink your hips low into Malasana. Hands to the heart center. Just work into the hips here. So we're gonna move into our first arm balance here. You can take crow pose, which is Bakasana, from this place, which is Malasana, or you can actually just lean over and come into it from a standing forward fold. Today we're coming into it from Malasana. So plant the hands out in front of you. I'm gonna move back so I'm on my mat. And plant the hands in front of you. So you want your hands about a foot in front of your toes. And then you start to lift your hips. Bend your elbows back like you're in chaturanga. So you've got a 90-degree angle in your elbows. And I want you to see that 90 degree. So here it is. And as you shift your weight forward, the knees come to the backs of the triceps. Look forward. And then cat your back and pull your belly button into your spine, just like we did when we were on our hands and knees. And this is prep for Bakasana. And then let your weight come back down and back into Malasana. And then place your hands down. Again, shift forward, elbows back, lift your hips, and then place the knees on the back sides of the triceps. If you can get them higher, that's even better. Now, cat your back, pull your shoulder blades apart and draw your belly button in. Shift your weight forward, look forward, and then maybe lift one foot or the other. But you've got to get your weight forward, and it's that head to butt balance, right? All right, back to Malasana. Sink low. One more time, we're coming all the way up, and if you've already been up 3 times, that's fine too. Some people just can practice this, and this is one of the most used arm balances, and a lot of people can just get into it easily. Lift your feet, cat your back, look forward, draw your belly button in. Nice job. Now put your feet together and put them down, and then fold over. Standing forward, fold. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. Plant your hands, and then step back to plank. If you need to rinse it out with a flow. And then come back to downward facing dog. Going into inversions now. So I want you to come to your knees. I'm going to turn around because I'll be close to the railing, and I can show you how to use the wall. So we're going to do a headstand here. I always like to offer a headstand early in my practice, or do a headstand early in my practice, just because I'm fresh and it takes a lot of strength. So I want you to think about the surface area of your arm from your elbow to your pinky finger. There's a lot of surface area here, right? You're going to use that. And then the other thing that you're going to do is you're going to use that press of the surface area to separate your shoulder blades and drop your shoulders down. So a lot of times people will go into their headstand and their shoulders will come up to their ears. You want to avoid that. You want to press the shoulder blades towards the hips. That's going to be up when you're upside down instead of down. So it's kind of opposite to think of it that way. So shoulder blades down the back. Now, as your hands are intertwined, you want your elbows as wide as your shoulders. So in order to check that, grab your elbows. See if you can grab them and separate them, and then put the hands together. Press that surface area from the pinky to the elbow down into the mat. And then place your head right at the hairline or just above, not on the flat top of the head, but right here, right in between your hands. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. You're going to naturally roll over your head just a little bit. And then just walk your feet so that you can get your hips right over your shoulders. Now watch the shoulders tend to droop there. Press them up towards your hips. Press really hard into the surface area of your forearm. And then maybe you start to lift one leg.
And then maybe you lift the other. Now there is the option to bring the knee into the chest and then bring the other knee into the chest. Can't do that today. Or lift one leg and then the other. The other option is to use your wall or your railing. So you can place your head down. Ooh, that's hard. Placing your head down and begin to use the wall or the railing. And you can lift your leg up and put your butt or your back against the rail and come on up. That rail's a little short. I was scared I was going over it. But once you get there, you want to make sure you're drawing your belly button way in and press really hard into your forearms. Use one leg and then the other to come down, and there you are. Once you're done practicing this headstand, always come to child's pose. Bring your knees together and reach your arms forward. Let yourself rest. I find my heart rate goes up a lot when I do a headstand. But if you can get enough leverage in your headstand and enough practice in your headstand to get there and be calm, it'll slow your heart rate. All right, so moving forward, go ahead and come to hands and knees again. Tuck your toes, knee lift your hips, downward facing dog. Pedal out through your heels a little bit if you need. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. Then you can always rewind and do that headstand again if you want. But we're gonna move on. So, right leg rises, bend the knee, stack the hip. And then put the foot again to the outside edge of your right pinky finger. You've been here before. But this time you're going to move your hand under your foot. So it comes to the outside edge of your foot, right there. And that way it moves the shoulder under the back side of the knee. And come to the ball of the back foot and start to work yourself forward and back. Again, you want to cat your back just like in crow pose. You want to look forward and cat your back just a bit and bend your elbows back in those chaturanga arms. Shift forward, and once you do, you can start to lift that foot up. Now that takes practice just to get the foot up. And you're working into Kundinyasana. I'm going to turn so you can see the other side. So one of the cheats that I can offer to you when you're first beginning with Kundinyasana, which is a flying split, is when you get your elbows back, you can put your hip on your elbow just for some additional support. So when I shift forward, a lot of times I'll lift my leg and put my elbow onto my hip, and then the back leg comes up, and I hold here until I can lift off of the hip off of the elbow. So helpful tip there. Step back to plank, move your hands out and step back. If you need to take a flow, take a flow. But we're going to the other side. So left leg rises, bend the knee, stack the hip, and then bring the left foot to the outside edge of your left pinky finger. Sink low, and then start to move the hand around to the outside of your foot. Nice job. Have a lot of patience with yourself with this, because it really takes some open hip work. And the more you practice this, and you can just stay here, move forward and back and open your hip, it will come. All right, shift forward and then lift the leg. Again, my right hip is going onto my right elbow as I lift up. And come back down. And again, you can rewind. That's the beauty of this being a video, is that you can rewind and do that again, right? Right and left if you'd like. But we're gonna move on. Step back to plank and take a flow if you'd like. Inhale, upward facing dog, stretch out your belly muscles. And then downward facing dog. Go ahead and lift the right leg, bend the knee, stack the hip. And then draw the knee into the nose, cat your back, and then place your foot between your hands. Flatten out the back foot, and then rise up to warrior one, and then open to warrior two. Go ahead and turn your right toes in, palms touch above your head, and then fold forward. Separate leg stretch, wide-legged Prasarita Padottanasana, so fold in. Slight bend in the knees as you rise up, arms fly out, turn your left toe out, bend your left knee, warrior two on the left side. Then swing your right arm up and come to warrior one, facing the other end of your mat. Frame your front foot, step back, take a flow, inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left leg rises, bend the knee, stack the hip. Draw the knee into the nose, shoulders over the wrist, core plank. Place your foot between your hands. Flatten out the back foot. Rise up, warrior one. Open, warrior two. And then turn the left toes in, fly the arms above your head. Open them up and fold forward. Put the hands under your shoulders and then draw the top of the head to the mat. We're going to start working on a tripod headstand here. So you want to draw a triangle on your mat. Whoop, whoop. Hands go on the bottom corners right under the shoulders, and then the head goes at the top. Start to press into your hands really hard and come to the tiptoes. And the more you can compress in your lower belly and squeeze and press into the palms of your hands, the more control you have. So you've got that triangle. You want to make sure you have that triangle in lots of surface area. As you come to the tiptoes, and maybe they float up, maybe not. Okay, another option is to come to a headstand prep. And I'm going to turn around and show you the headstand prep. And that would be to draw the knees onto the back sides of your elbows. And you can just stay here and use this to prep until you're ready to come all the way up and just work yourself up slowly. You can also use the wall for this as well. The key is to press really hard in the heels of the hands to keep the weight out of the head. And find that place where, just like if you were standing up on your feet, your body is in alignment. If you've made your way up with wide-legged, you can bring yourself back down and then lift your gaze. Stretch out your neck. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Let's take a little twist here. So leave your right hand down and the left arm comes up and open up into a twist. And then switch it out and do the other side. Hands down. Now we're going to work into Bhujapadasana, and you're like, what is that? So Bhujapadasana is a prep pose for firefly, and so I want you to start to move your feet a little closer, and then move your hands back, bend your knees, come into a squat, and then place your hands so that the fingertips are facing the heels, and then start to move your feet in front of your hands so that you're squeezing your shoulder pressure pose. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now, as your elbows sink back into chaturanga elbows, you want to sink all the way back and sit onto the backs of your arms. And then eventually you can start to lift the feet. Bhujapadasana. Now, I like to come into that and just hang out for a little while and then come back up and work my shoulders deep under my legs to work into firefly. Sitting back and come into Bhujapadasana and then extend the legs. Nice work, everybody. You can always rewind and try it again, but place your feet down and hang over in wide-legged stretch. Rise up, palms touch. You're always doing yard work here. All right, warrior two, float it down. Bring the front foot, step back. Take it through your flow. And then come to child's pose, knees wide. So from child's pose now, we're gonna go into one more arm balance that you see very often. So come to a downward facing dog. And then start to walk your feet to your hands. And sweep your arms above your head as you rise up. And bring them down by your side. So we did Kunyasana, and we're going to do another variation on Kunyasana, which is flying splits. So come to Utkatasana, chair pose. Sink your hips down low. And let's just take a twist first to prepare. So bring your hands to your heart center. And then go ahead and twist to the right first, taking your left elbow across the outside of your right thigh. Sink your hips low. Now, working to get the thumbs in line with the heart center, sink your hips even lower. See how my hips are as low as my knees? So you want to avoid being here and the knee forward. You want to make sure you're way across, and you might even need to take the time to move your arm across and shift your belly over to the side. So you can really get into that twist and sink your hips low. Nice work. All right, now let's go to the other side. So twist to the other side. This also feels really good to your lower back. Press the thumbs to the heart center. Sink your booty low. Come back to center. Stand up, straighten your knees for release. Reach your arms above your head, and then bring them to your lower back. Let's take a little lower back stretch and come back. Back bend. Try not to crunch in the lower back. All right, feet back together, Utkatasana chair pose. Reach the arms above your head. Draw the hands to your heart center. Now twist to the right, left elbow across the outside of the right thigh. Really work to get the tricep and the shoulder across the outside of your thigh. Now we're gonna work into a side crow first, and then flying split alternate variation. So you wanna place your hands down, and you're in a squat. You've already worked that elbow across the outside of the thigh. And you're coming into hands shoulder width apart out to the side. And then start to shift your weight forward first. Bring in the weight into your hands. Come to your tiptoes. And then I like to cheat and put my right hip on the elbow, just like we did in the first variation. Shift forward. And this again is about balancing forward and back. Draw the belly button in, and you want to shift your weight forward until you're forward enough that the feet lift off the mat. Now, this is your side crow. You can stay here, or you can start to extend your right leg forward, left leg back. Lift it up. Woo, I'm flipping. One more time. Extend, strong in the core. It also helps to look towards your foot. And you're balancing on your hands. All right, let's try that again. Come back to Utkatasana, feet together. Reach the arms up. This time I'm going to do it from the side. Hands to the heart center. And then twist. Work that elbow across. We're on the same side. And then place the hands down. I'm just showing you from the side. Wrong side, actually. Start to shift forward, hip to the elbow, and then here you are on your side crow. And you can just hang out here, balancing your head to your bottom. Yeah, there you go, like a seesaw. Or start to extend that left leg and lift the back leg. Nice work, everybody. Like I said, this is a really nice way to really break down these poses.
You can always rewind and do it again. All right, stand up tall, take a break, bring your hands to the lower back, separate your feet, slide into the knees, open your heart. All right, back to center. Let's do the other side. So come to chair pose. Hands to the heart center, twisting right elbow across the outside of the left thigh this time. And really get into the twist deeply. Working that right tricep all the way across the outside of the thigh. Now go ahead and place the hands down, shoulder width apart, and then start to shift your weight forward first, look forward, and then maybe the hip comes to the left elbow and you're in your side crows, your feet fly off the mat. You've got to really lean forward and draw your belly button in. And then extend that left leg. Breathe and look at your foot, and then come back to center. Nice work, everybody. Fold over your feet, feet about hips distance apart. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. And then roll up one bone at a time to stand. Inhale, arms rise above your head as you come to the top of the mat. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, step back. You did it. Nice work. Upward facing dog. And then back into downward facing dog. So much fun flying on your hands. All right, one more. Not arm balance, but a little trick. Coming to seated, come up to the balls of your feet. We did this before and we jumped our feet up, but this time you're gonna jump your feet up and slide them through. So jump up, cross your feet and slide through. Something else you can practice. Finding the air in the back and the core strength in the back really makes a difference. Go ahead and roll all the way down onto your backs. Gather your right knee into your chest and then the left, and then rock on the lower back. I love arm balances. So much fun to practice. And when you can find somebody that can break them down for you and help you personally, it really makes a difference to have those adjustments. But it's really time consuming. So I hope this video helped you. And I was able to break them down enough that you can practice them, but it does take practice, just like everything else we do. All right, happy baby, grab the outside edges of your feet, let the tailbone come towards the end of the mat and the knees towards the armpits. And then draw the soles of the feet together and let them come to the mat. Feet on the mat and the soles of the feet together, the arms out wide. And take a moment here in Supta Baddha Konasana to just let your hips sink and relax. We've used them a lot today. And then one more stretch. Bring your feet flat on the mat with the knees up. Let's come into bridge pose just to stretch out our lower belly and our back because we used it a lot. And then lower all the way down. Extend your legs long on the mat and come to any variation of corpse pose that you want. And stay as long as you need. I want to thank each and every one of you for being with me and tuning in and letting me guide you through one of my favorite parts of practicing yoga, flying and being upside down. Sometimes it's great to change your perspective and to challenge yourself. Sometimes being upside down can help with some of the aging effects because gravity goes in opposite directions. I like to think of that way. Anyway, so hope this helped. I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.